with the weapons that we're gonna buy, we're gonna be exploding a specific glitch that is causing a lot of trouble in Cuphead. Like trouble, I mean, as far as like the game working properly.
Nice, we just started. Let's go, guys.
Alright, let's get some hype. 3 coins now from the NPC for free. We need a total of 8 to buy those 2 weapons. Those are like lower roundabout. So,
like 2C was saying, Legacy does an extra level compared to current patch, but it saves so much time to get this extra weapon with this glitch that the category is way faster, even with this extra level.
Yeah, just like to give you an idea, for like comparing world records, I guess, which are like the 2 best times, it saves about 6 minutes. Right, so interesting enough, the first level has a specific glitch that is really difficult. Kep actually managed to do it, which is dash under the machine, clip through the machine, the ground, I guess, and skip killing the machine. Junpern had to kill it though because he didn't have the HP, and you'll see on the result screen how much time Kep saved over Junpern. If done properly, can actually be even more like faster. But nicely done from both runners.
Skipping under the acorn like that is really difficult, and if you don't do it in your first couple tries, then you have to stop trying because you're gonna die. So that was really good. In the shop, there's a way to purchase the items while leaving at the same time, and that saves a lot of time. It's like 5 seconds. And we don't know if it's exactly frame perfect or not. It's either frame perfect or close to it. Oh, in Kepsert, it looks like he didn't equip his weapons correctly, so he has to open up his menu again and try to change that. Yeah. So junpern gets a lead now in the veggies.
Kepper was trying to do the fast menuing. It saves a little bit of time, not that much. Unfortunately, it can be risky, so you can lose time if you don't execute properly. But I think that the race now is kind of close. Junpern didn't really have the greatest fight. Kepper might actually save, 5 seconds just from this fight, so he definitely caught up a bit. The current record, if you're talking about Forest Follies, the current world record is 32 minutes with all the coins.
32 seconds.
Seconds, yeah, minutes.
32-minute Forest Follies.
Yeah, that would be insane. So this boss battle, the Rivian Croaks, has 2 different attack patterns. You see both of them get a different one. Junpern would not get the fast kill, the fast kill like to kill the phase 2, so get a really fast fight. Usually, like, this is the better RNG, but it's a little bit more difficult to execute. I don't blame Junpern since he doesn't really play Legacy that much, but you know, Kepper definitely has like a lead, I believe now.
A lot of times when you're trying to get this skip with the flies, you can be left with 1 HP for the final phase, and it can make the slot machine pretty scary, especially with Cheetah as the last transformation. And junpern takes death at the very end, so now Kepsert is pretty far ahead. junpern gets the fly pattern now, so maybe if he goes for the skip, he can catch up a little bit.
Unfortunately, he didn't get the skip. You can see like one of the frogs didn't do that extra attack. What you want to see is both of them not doing the extra attack and switching straight to the slot machine. So a little bit of a small mistake again from jumping in this fight. Red Frogs though is, as Sublime said, like kind of a difficult fight. They're only going to be doing one stage, and they already did it in this goal, I guess, the all bosses category. The only side scroller or platforming running gun level is the Forest Fallings, and it's needed to buy the 2 weapons. With those 2 weapons in Legacy, you're going to be going through the whole game, pretty much. So you saw the power of weapon swap glitch. A fight that is not necessarily that difficult, but it takes a little bit of time if you do it casually. Goopy only took 22 seconds. Why do I say minutes? It only took 22 seconds. Like, it was really, really fast. Weapon swapping was really strong. As right now, Kep is on the Hildaberg fight, and this is by far one of the trickiest fights in Legacy.
I think this is probably the hardest fight in the game, especially to save time. There's so much variance in this fight where if you get this very specific glitch, then you can save a lot of time, and if you don't get it, then you really don't save a lot of time. The glitch involves freezing Hilda in one of her later transformations with a very specific amount of damage so that she doesn't transform into the moon. And the reason why that saves so much time is because the moon is invulnerable for the transformation into the moon is very slow because it's invulnerable for a long time. And so you can just skip that with doing a very specific amount of damage, but the setup is difficult. And Kepsert dies there about in the middle of Hilda, so it's a very close race again.
Yeah, Hildaberg or the airplane fights, I guess, without the weapon swapping glitch are usually really slow in Cuphead, so dying there definitely causes a lot of trouble to many runners. So we'll like put him behind, I mean. So junpern has a chance to catch up in this boss fight. So I believe junpern is not going for the glitch. He just like tries to get a really, really fast fight, which is understandable. Or did he get it? Wait, he actually got it. I thought he did a lot of damage there. Yo, nice. Junpern actually got the glitch.
Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of weird because I thought that he did a lot of damage, but apparently he didn't. So that's nice. You can see this like the difference in the Hildaberg. Either like you fight the final fight, or you know you get the glitch and you just like kill her, and junpern takes a lead now.
That's probably the toughest glitch in the whole run, so it's cool that he gets to show that off in the race. So as you can see, a 103 versus a 124, that's an example of how much variance there can be in this fight. And if you watch some of the top runners, then you're gonna see a lot of resets at Hilda.
Yeah, for like extremely competitive times, people will tend to reset in Hildaberg, that's for sure. I need to mention that the timing that we use, the official timing in Cuphead, is time without loads. That's one of the reasons that you might see the timer stopping when there is like loading screens. So because the load times varies, in real time, one runner might be ahead from the other. So in specific marks of the run, we'll mark down the times, and then we'll see who is in the lead. It appears that junpern is in the lead right now, despite the fact that they both got the knockout at the same time because of the time without loads.
Yeah, time without loads puts the runners at an even playing field because they have different PC hardware. So obviously we don't want someone to get a lead just because their load times are faster.
So Kep at 8:35 enters the die house, and junpern 8:32, 3 seconds lead for junpern. It's a really close race. Like that death and Ribian Croaks didn't really cost me that much as Kepsert's.
Yeah, this is a really close race right now. So there's 5 different candy mini bosses that Baroness can shoot out to you. The one that wastes the most time is the gumball. I mean, sorry, the jawbreaker. So let's see if junpern gets it. Neither of them have gotten it so far. So it still looks pretty even.
Yeah, unfortunately though, junpern got the waffle first. While the waffle is not necessarily a difficult mini boss, if you cannot kill it fast, you get the waffle attack, and while the attack happens, you cannot kill the waffle.
Right, and you can potentially do quadruple damage if you don't get it first. So that was a little unfortunate.
And junpern with extremely bad luck getting the gumball machine last. He gets the shotgun, and now in Legacy there's a specific glitch. Baroness right now doesn't take damage until she starts moving. So, extremely unfortunate from junpern, he got that last minion. Usually you want to have a minion that you can kill really, really fast, so that Baroness will not shoot the shotgun. So I believe Kep actually takes the lead now.
Kepsert's moving on to Wally. Wally is the first plane boss where you're weapon switching with bombs, and instead of mashing like on the non-plane levels, you're trying to switch in a certain rhythm, and you can actually lose a lot of damage by not having a specific rhythm, and by not having good rhythm. Even a lot of top runners have trouble with the plane levels still.
Yeah, I definitely do have a huge problem. It's actually not that easy to weapon swap properly in airplane levels. Even if it seems like you're doing it the correct way, you might actually miss it like the proper rhythm. So
yeah, it's hard to tell if you're missing damage or not. It's unless you compare yourself to some of the best times to see.
True. And in the meantime, I have to say that Kep actually got a really good fight.
Yeah, 44 is good.
A good fight, really good execution. I guess the second phase could have been slightly faster, but he got good RNG, good patterns overall. Good stuff from Kep. As junpern gets unfortunate RNG and a death. That is definitely going to cost him a bit. Because as we said earlier, opening fights are long, especially if you die in the last phase. You're going to be losing about 40 seconds.
For comparison, Kepsert got a 44 there, and without frame perfect tricks, the best you can get on Wally with good RNG is about a 37.
Yeah, it's like perfect execution. Actually, junpern repeats Wally. Kepsert is on the Jimmy the Great fight, and you saw him shooting some bombs, mini bombs down. You can see he throws the bombs down there. You can actually hit a hidden hitbox. Legacy has, in some bosses, has those hitboxes, and Jimmy is one of them. And right now, Kep did enough damage to kill the sarcophagus phase before the sarcophagus. So what happens in the game is, well, you freeze the boss there. So Kepsert can actually defeat Jimmy in that phase, saving about 15 seconds if I'm not mistaken, from like transitions and such.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. junpern took Wally pretty safe there to avoid another death, so he gets a much slower fight, but he's moving on to Jimmy now.
Yeah, Skep is done with Jimmy. We have to say that while it is faster to kill him like that, it's so much dangerous because the last phase, to do the optimal thing, you have to be on Jimmy's face, and that is very difficult because Ghost RNG can actually mess you up there. Lucky for Kepsert, he played a little bit safe as well. I don't blame him. 1 HP staying close to the Jimmy face is not good.
Right. So the first phase of Beppy is really tricky because if you do too much damage too quickly, you can make the second phase impossible to beat. And if you don't do enough damage, then you don't get the phase skip, which is what Kepsert is retrying right now. If you do enough damage in Beppy's first phase, you can kill the second phase during the first phase. And that locks Beppy in his second transformation for the rest of the fight, which saves a lot of time. Because you don't have to wait for the next couple phases to pop up.
Yeah. Retry from Kepsert.
Also a retry from junpern there.
Yeah, death there from junpern in the pillar phase. And this is the Beppy glitch. It destroys bitrate on streams. I love it. It's super great because there's a lot of stuff going on the screen. And yeah, that's the Beppy fight. Done in about, I would say 37, 38 seconds. I'm guessing right now.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh.
I was so close. So we have to say something also. Kepsert in the first try, he used two EXs. EXs are the powerful attacks that Cuphead does with the weapons, right? Because you weapon swap though, sometimes when you press the EX and you weapon swap really fast, the game doesn't recognize which weapon you have, and you fire a blank. So, and we call it a nothing.
It's one of the most annoying parts of Legacy, for sure.
Yeah. So, the Mexican runner, of course, came up with the term nothing, so we kept it as the community. And it's, as Sublime said, the worst thing to happen in a Legacy run.
So you're one of the best in the community at Dragon. Why don't you explain a little bit the Dragon fight?
Yeah, so there's a specific glitch. Again, if you do more damage in the first phase to kill the second phase, you can freeze the dragon. Kepsert is going to do it right now.
He gets it.
Yeah, he also did the really safe approach, getting like the sure glitch on the dragon. So he waited about 3.8 cards, waited for a long pattern, then he went all in to get the glitch. Usually you just like want to go all in from the beginning, no matter what the pattern. And even if you miss the glitch, it doesn't matter. Like the fight is going to be pretty much fast, but it's going to be more difficult without the glitch.
Right.
Right, so the great Simiko asked how are they doing so much damage and they can skip the phases. And that is like the weapon swap glitch. This is like the explanation. Basically what they are doing, they have two weapons equipped and they mash the weapon swap button. And that way, you pretty much, every time you receive a weapon, you negate the cooldown of that weapon. So you pretty much have a machine gun of projectiles.
Junpern retries Beppy again. It may have been faster to not retry there, but he's going to go for the glitch again. He's going to keep going until he gets the glitch. Ooh, Kepsert gets B RNG.
So we are blessed with the B RNG middle pattern. This is it. Let's get some PogChamps in chat for this one, because this moment is really rare in Cuphead speedruns.
And the second fight, and in the second phase of the B fight, the B can come down in either of the two sides and the middle. And we're not sure the exact probability. A lot of people think it's 1/3, but sometimes it really doesn't seem that way. It seems like it's a lot less than that.
Yeah.
But it can save around 8 seconds if she comes down the middle. And with good execution and also, it helps to get a little luck from the platforms. You can save like 8 seconds right there, which is one of the biggest problems in the run. The B is in the top level of Cuphead is one of the biggest problems in the whole run. And now Kepsert's onto Robot. This is one of the only fights that I helped optimize for the community. You can, if you do a very specific amount of damage on the heart and you barely crack it, if you're careful enough, you can just skip the last two phases. 2C, do you know exactly what causes this to happen?
Well, we have theories about it. As you see, Kepsert did the fastest fight in Legacy, as Sublime mentioned. So basically, the last hit of the heart takes about 155 damage, if I'm not mistaken. So the theory is we do enough damage to make it to the last hit of the heart. And then when we fire the Magnet EX, we fire 9 different magnets. So each one of them does 155 times 9. That is like a theory that we have. We're not really sure about it. Which, by the way, 155 times 9 is pretty much the whole boss HP. In the meantime, junpern is done with Beppy. As you said, it might have been probably faster to not retry for the Beppy glitch and just, going on with the fight. He gets the dragon glitch as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, and as you can see, he gets the glitch. He got the glitch a little faster that time because when the flames start jumping out and jumping at you, even during the glitch, it means that you got the glitch while the dragon was off screen, as opposed to the dragon going on screen and then getting the glitch afterwards. And it does more damage to get the more dangerous version of the glitch, but it's obviously safer when you don't have a bunch of flames jumping at you.
Exactly. Kepsert is done with solid stage play. Not a really interesting boss fight. There's like a secret hitbox, and that's like the most interesting thing about it. Of course, optimizing the fight is, another thing. There are like a couple of small movement things that you have to make sure you do. But in a race, I guess what you have to worry about is, killing her like in the normal way, I guess, not doing anything fancy.
Right. Junpern trying to play it safe a little bit. If you get hit twice on the first phase, and B, it's pretty hard to survive no matter what the pattern, and it's pretty hard to do damage. So that retry there really isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Kepsert sounds like one of the most straightforward parts of the run. This is one of the easiest fights in the game, even though it's in Isle 3.
Yeah.
It's really just mostly mashing and. We should have explained this maybe a little earlier, but with the roundabout EXs, if you can time it right, you can jump over them and get them to connect for a total of 7 if you can do it properly. And also, if the roundabouts if they hit you and the boss at the same time, then I believe they do double damage, right, Tusi?
They deal an extra tick of damage that they wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if, for example, it returns and it does the 6th tick of damage, once it hits you, it does the 7th, the last, for example. So it does like that extra tick. And yeah, as you said, the Vermin is really easy fighting, like I said.
And now this is the exact opposite, one of the hardest fights. You can lose a lot of time on Briny Beard because there are a couple patterns that basically you're going to lose time on unless you are extremely good at the fight. And there's a lot of variance in the difficulty of the patterns for the first couple attacks. Kepsert gets one of the harder ones, but he got 2 patterns where Briny Beard shoots 4 times, and if that happens, then you can potentially get a 2-cycle. So that was one of he got a little lucky there, but it's still hard to dodge those, and that's why shooting the octopus gun twice is one of the really hard patterns, no matter what, especially for the newer runners. So he's gonna retry that because it's like I was saying, it's really hard to not get hit on this fight. It's, in my opinion, the hardest fight in the run.
Yeah, like the way this fight works, like the 2 weapons that we have, way to actually damage, we have to be really close to Briny Beard, unfortunately. And the way, all the patterns are, you're not going to be dealing enough damage to skip this.
Right. The first fight that the pirate always does is he always takes out his octopus gun and he shoots 4 bullets, and one of those is always not parryable. So you're going to see, if you watch any of the top runners do this fight, they're going to be going for, almost all of them go for the first parry, but there's always a chance that that won't be a parry. And so you can just get screwed over right off the bat, and you're going to have to recover from that. And so no matter how good you are, there's randomness in this fight that's really hard to overcome.
Yeah, definitely. He gets kind of a slow fight because he got a 4th cycle as well. Something that Kep tried to do there was, jumping.
Oh my gosh.
The big wave. The last phase of the 3rd phase of Sally. So what Kep tried to do there was, on the 2nd cycle, he tried to kill the squid to get a really, really fast fight, but he didn't really do enough damage to capture Briny Beard. And then he got 3rd cycle, which was really difficult. And so on. He wanted to play safe, being with 1 HP.
Right. It technically would have been safer to just not kill the squid and just focus on damaging the Briny Beard. But in a race setting like this, it's really hard to think about, what's the absolute best decision.
Yeah. And Calamaria is, in my opinion, is the hardest fight in the game, I would say, if you want to do it really fast. It really depends on RNG as well. I'm not gonna lie, but uh, there are like specific techniques to get consistent, I guess, sub 45, no matter what RNG.
Right. If Calamaria summons something first, then that whatever pattern you get after, you're going to be able to skip to her eel and eye gaze phase. But if she doesn't summon, then not only can you not skip to the last phase immediately, but you have to be worried about soft locking the game, because there's a chance that you're going to be doing too much damage, and that's why Calamaria takes a lot of practice. You're going to have to practice the fight and make sure that you don't do enough damage to just completely soft lock the game. And you can retry the fight when you get the Calamaria soft lock. There are a couple soft locks in the game where you just have to exit out of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't see any of those.
Right.
So, Kepsert is on Phantom Express, and in my opinion, Phantom Express is one of the most exciting fights in the run.
And it also happens to be one of 2C's best fights, probably his best fight, and he's probably the best in the community at it, either number 1 or number 2 for sure.
And when there's Wolf, I don't think I'm number 1.
There are a couple fights he's not the best at. This might be one of them.
I do believe that this is extremely interesting, just because you put everything that you learn throughout the game into like this fight. I guess it's the most complex. There's so many inputs that you have to do, so many techniques. I think this is like the definition of like the good fight in Cuphead, in my opinion at least. And it's so good.
Yeah, this is a good fight.
Kepsert get the one cycle as well. You see like everything, positioning, shooting the EXs in the proper way, you know, killing the twin phase accordingly. And Kepsert gets a sub 1 minute, which is for many runners a really huge obstacle. So that was pretty good.
Like 2C was saying, that's a lot of people's favorite fight in the game. The music is awesome. The fight is really unique and fun. There is one thing that makes the fight scary. So the soft locks in this game are almost always avoidable. If you know what you're doing, if you know the damage you're doing, you can avoid them. With Train, no one in the community actually knows what causes it to soft lock. So you just have to hope that you don't get it.
Like, it's actually super rare, because I think it happened to me, and I think it happened to you once.
It's happened to me multiple times now, unfortunately on very good pace, and it's also happened to the world record holder multiple times. Yeah. But most people in the community have never gotten it, and we should cross our fingers for junpern here.
Yeah. It makes, if like there were ghosts, skeletons, and every like spooky thing in Phantom Express, now we have to figure about the soft lock as well.
Yeah, it's already spooky enough.
Yeah. So Kepsert moves to Inkwell Hell, and then he's gonna fight the King Dice. It is an all bosses category, but what defines boss here is King Dice himself. The other minions are like minions or mini bosses, I guess. So it is all bosses, but the minions are not considered bosses. Similar, I guess, to Barnes from Bonbon, kind of, I guess.
Right. And while junpern's on Calamaria, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Calamaria real quick. When you were watching Beppy and the dragon, if you do enough damage, you can just start contributing to the next phase and lock Beppy and dragon in one of their previous ones. Now, when you get the soft lock in Calamaria, it's because you do too much damage and you kill one of the later phases within the initial phase. And for some reason, for some of the fights, the game just soft locks, and for some of the fights, it makes the fight faster. So we're not quite sure why that happens, but Calamaria is one of the fights where it doesn't help you at all.
True. And,
why don't you explain Monkey Glitch?
And yeah, this was Monkey. All right, that was
that was a very fast pattern. There's not enough time to explain.
Yeah, well, basically, in the memory game, like the monkey fight, basically you parry 2 cards, you freeze the monkey in the side of the screen, you scroll the screen, and for some reason the game doesn't detect the monkey and says, you know what, get out of here. So you win the fight.
thing that makes the glitch work is to barely bounce the monkey off the side of the screen by timing your parries correctly. Oh, that's a very costly death there. So this race just got a lot closer. Now Kepsert, not only does he have to do the king dice fight at the end, he has to do all 3 mini bosses again, and so that was a very costly death there.
Oh wow, that like imagine the lead was about 2-minute lead, maybe 2.5-minute lead from Kepsert. Now that is putting in about 30 seconds, I think.
Right, so now it's anybody's game because the last part of the game, the last gauntlet, is very difficult, especially for newer runners. It's very hard. Even for some of the more experienced people in the top 10, a lot of runs die to King Dice and the Devil. So this is officially anybody's game.
Yeah, and even though you saw Kepsert getting the monkey glitch first, you know, Sublime explained that many people lose the monkey glitch. It's not easy to get. So
right. No matter how good you are, even if you time it correctly, it's been proven that you can, the monkey can just troll you, and with a good bounce, sometimes it just doesn't work, and you have to try a second time to get the glitch.
Exactly. Keeps it down with the domino. He's gonna try the monkey again. How much HP? 2 HP. He's gonna get 1 from the monkey. So
it looks like he's good. When you have 3 HP, if you can get to King Dice with 3 HP, you actually don't have to parry any of the cards, which is actually optimal because not only does parrying slow down the game, but it stops Cuphead from shooting for a little bit, and it also messes up your aim a little bit. So there's a lot of reasons why you just shouldn't parry the cards with 3 HP. I'm not sure if he knows those strats, but it looks like that was a little late on the monkey, so now he has to retry on the other side. A lot of the newer runners, they don't go for the glitch on the right side. The timing is a little different, and it takes a lot of practice. Ooh, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So this is an example of the monkey being very difficult.
Oh no. It's causing a lot of trouble now to Cap. He's jumping now, he's gonna go to the domino fight.
Looks like Kepsert's gonna get it now.
Yeah. Nicely done.
So if Kepsert wants to win this, he needs to clutch out the King Dice and the Devil. So ooh, junpern retries. Yeah. Did you see why he retried?
Yeah, he got hit and he didn't have any hearts on the board, so he wanted to play safe. I don't know about that one. I think that maybe taking the risk there would have been better because you might be behind. So,
right.
Kepsert playing it safe this time though. Parries the cards. He doesn't really do the tank.
Yeah, I think you're right because
you have 1 HP.
If you look at the times, if you look at the loadless times, this is what we were talking about before. Now there's a much bigger discrepancy between their timers. So junpern is actually about 17 seconds. His timer is 17 seconds lower. So that means that they're not as far. He's not as far behind as you guys think right now. So maybe if he didn't retry that and Kepsert got a death, he could have clutched it out. Let's see what happens here, though. It's not over yet.
Yeah, last fight of the game. Someone in chat asks when you say, okay, let's do the monkey fight properly. The monkey fight takes a lot of time because you have to do the memory game. So I think at this point you have to do the monkey glitch. Unfortunately, no matter how many tries it takes you.
Yeah, even the new runners have to do it. It's just one of the fights that wastes way too much time doing it the intended way.
Yeah, once you are choosing the monkey, you have to stick to the monkey. The alternative is to actually go to Magic 8 Ball, which is not a bad choice, by the way. It's really good to do so, I would say, if you're not feeling comfortable with the monkey. Nice.
Kepsert doing some pretty clutch dodges there to play the first phase safe and just get out of there with 3 HP. He doesn't opt for the new glitch that was found, where if you can pause in the right place, coming down from the first area into hell, you can actually start. You can gain control of Cuphead a little earlier than you're supposed to. You also have to fire an EX at the right time, and there you go. He's got a 31-30. Nice.
Yeah,
so GG's to Kepsert. Yeah, GG.
As you can see, junpern. So I'll explain what happened now to junpern. He didn't really try to do the intended way. He just got a match, unfortunately. That is really
Oh
unlikely
no.
when that happens. So when you get
Yeah.
a match, you have to fight the monkey a bit before you try again the glitch.
Right, unless you can actually get a match and get the glitch at the same time, but that still wastes time.
Yeah.
Especially with nerves, the monkey can be extremely hard.
Yep. So as junpern is trying the monkey, we have the winner of the race, Kepsert. Kepsert, GG on the run.
GG, kind of.
Kind of.
Oh wow.
I mean, what do you have to say about the race?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that everyone is wondering what happened at Hilda. And I'm gonna explain this right now, and it's probably gonna sound like a really bad excuse, but it's actually happened, and I can take a picture as proof because I have like all the flames still on my monitor. So I was doing Hilda, and I missed the glitch, but that's okay, right? That's a little bit of a time loss, but you can still go on. And then I suddenly had to sneeze, but I tried to hold it, and I just tried holding it in, and I just couldn't hold it anymore. And then I saw the bullet come, like the Zeppelin shot a bullet at me, and I just couldn't hold it anymore. So I just sneezed, and there was phlegm all over my screen. And the only thing I saw was that I died, and I just started panicking from that moment on.
Oh my god, what a way to die, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna rename myself to the guy who sneezed.
Well, aside from that, I think like some unfortunate deaths and such, and that incident that happened.
Yeah, talk about unfortunate 45-second time loss from a sneeze.
Yeah, like the rest so far was right, actually.
So junpern actually does the monkey the intended way, and this is what we were talking about. Getting all the matches just takes so much time. He was hoping to get the glitch a little like in the middle, just to save a little time. Unfortunately, he didn't get it.
Yeah, and he's gonna be done with King Dice now.
And if you compare junpern's King Dice to Kepsert's, they both have 3 HP, but as you can see, the fight is a little longer, and the game slows down when you get the parries like that. So it's potentially possible to just skip the parries with 3 HP that he had. So let's see if junpern can clutch out the devil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kepsert, that was a good devil, man. Like I was watching there was some pretty hard patterns to dodge at the end there, but it was worth it for you to just play it safe there for sure.
Yeah, I think I was so lucky that with the flame pattern that I had the pink one in the middle, so I could parry it right from the beginning. Makes it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, but to give yourself credit, it's actually pretty difficult to get the timing because you can get the parry and get hit at the same time. You can also parry too soon and not get the parry at all. And even when you're done, with the minions running in, it's hard to dodge that pattern. It's one of the hardest ones to dodge. So kudos to you for getting out of the first phase with 3 HP. It always feels good to get down there with 3 HP, you know?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier indeed.
For sure.
So junpern gets the really bad pattern right now, the spider pattern on the devil. You cannot really do enough damage with the spider, so you waste a lot of time. Also, it goes off screen, so it's like really unfortunate. I guess by far one of the worst patterns you can get on the devil. But yeah, Kep, I have to say that your fights overall were pretty alright. You did a lot of the glitches. Beppy took you a second try, but you got a bunch of nothing, so you were a bit unlucky there. And the rest of the fights though were pretty alright, except I guess from Briny Beard was it caused you a lot of trouble with the death and the force cycle, the second try. And
yeah, I was hoping we could just forget about that fight.
Yeah. And,
I've made that same mistake before, where you kill the squid too fast and you think that you're gonna go on to the last phase, but he goes through a whole another cycle, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. But also, like the first attempt, usually I kill the last phase, well, just after he shoots the second bullet. But this time I barely didn't make it. Like I'm pretty sure it was like one hit off, and I just dashed into the bullet myself.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a large time loss right there. But you clutched it out. So junpern finishes with a 35-32. GG's to junpern.
Yeah, GG's indeed.
GG.
There were a couple of troubles from both you runners, but that's like the nature of the legacy, I guess. You know, you want to go for the glitches, you want to go for the fast strats, you play aggressive, and you know, without realizing you're at 1 HP on 1 point, and you have to clutch, and that's like the difficult part of legacy. It's like why I like it as well. With us we have junpern usually the run. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm GG, and I hope you enjoyed the second part of Dumb Boys to Die. I died a lot, yeah. That's unfortunate, but it was a good race.
Yeah, you guys were kind of close, and then Kep had a death of King Dice, and you were pretty much about 30 seconds apart from each other, because Kepsert was also missing the monkey glitch a couple of times.
A couple of times.
Yeah, it's It was a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, tell me.
Oh yeah. So I was like, you know, the race was actually close at that point. You were done with your chips while Kepsert was doing the monkey, and you know, of course, anything can happen. You know, you went to the monkey, you got stuck there. Monkey glitch can be a little bit weird, that's for sure.
Yeah, the worst part was that I actually hit two cards, the same cards. I mean, and I had to fight the monkey.
I hate doing that
without realizing. So I didn't know if you can actually do the glitch after you start the fight. So I tried a few times, it didn't work, so I say, well, whatever, I'm going to just fight.
So how that works is if you match the cards accidentally, if you get the glitch at the same time, then you can or if you get a good wall bounce at the same time that you match two cards, then you can get the glitch. It does waste a little bit of time still because the monkey has an animation that usually doesn't happen, but he can still go off the screen. If you don't get it, you have to, you know, damage the monkey and retry, and that's one of the frustrating parts about monkey, because, like, you know, it's enough. It takes enough attention to analyze his speed, to figure out which visual cue you need to get the good to get a good bounce, but also you need to be careful about which cards are matching, which is like a lot to take in, because you need to do all of that in like the first 2 seconds of the fight. You need to be like, where are the matches? And you also have to figure out what speed the monkey's going at so that you can get a good visual cue. And not only that, but the monkey's right at the end of the run. So there's so many things there that can go wrong. It's just really frustrating, even to the top runners. The 8-ball strat the 8-ball strat is that it's number 8 on the King Dice board. And for those of you who don't know, in chat, it wastes about 10 seconds if you do it optimally. And if you're having a good enough run, you can sacrifice 10 seconds to have a safer King Dice. But kudos to both runners for trying the harder fight. It's definitely more fun to watch.
I mean, Kepsert got it first try, the first time.
Yeah, that was a good first attempt. That was a very fast pattern, and you just adapted to it really quickly.
I think I was like just on the edge of getting it. Like I was really tight.
Yeah, those fast patterns are really, really difficult to, get it right. You did a really good job there.
Yeah, especially when he runs into you. That's super frustrating.
So there are more Cuphead races. Well, we have a bunch of races actually. Today we have another one. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So in about, that's a lot of hours now. It's about 7 hours from now, pretty much. There's plenty of action, of course, in like 6 hours from now in the other Speed Gaming channel, so you guys can check out more stuff.
Yeah, Speed Gaming 2. I think there's more than 2. The next race is going to be at Speed Gaming 2. It's going to be versus the Potato and Zintai. And if I'm not mistaken, those two players have very close PBs, so definitely stay tuned for that. Well, don't stay tuned right now. It's gonna take a little bit to get there.
Yeah, it's gonna be the debut as well for the Potato 123. He didn't play in the first round because one of the runners in the group is not gonna participate in the tournament. So it's going to be the debut, and the Potato in the previous tournament that we have placed second. So we'll see what he brings to Legacy, because he's a current pass runner. So he's been doing a lot of practice, and he got a really good time as well. So I'm really interested to see.
Yeah, they've both been leveling up a lot recently, so I'm very excited for that.
Also, for you two guys in the call, junpern is going to be playing against Kepsert in the next round. Kepsert being top 4 runners in the world right now.
Kepsert, Monka S, dude.
Yeah, that's a Monka S.
Yeah, that's another lost for me.
Yeah, the Swedish menace. He's like so good at Cuphead.
He's a monster.
Yes.
And Kepsert, well, buddy, we're gonna be playing on the next round. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll make sure I sneeze before the race.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it from us. Any last thoughts, guys?
I'm just gonna grab a drink, I think.
I just need to get ready to work, so.
Oh no. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Also, thank you to everyone watching. That was a fun race, and there's going to be another one today. So if you all liked this race, then come back at I believe 12 EST. Is that correct?
3 p.m. Yeah. The next.
Oh
one.
yeah, 3 p.m. EST.
Yeah.
Which
So-
is 9 p.m. European time, by the way. Central European.
But yeah, we should mention that, I guess. Meow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my cat, sorry.
So with that, we're about to. So, all right. See everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Speed Gaming. You're
Thank
awesome.
you all for watching.
Bye.
Thanks, guy.
Thanks for the commentary as well.